I want to talk about this Instagram post of
Mm.
yours. What led you and motivated you to put those words out in the public?
Well, I think like most of America, we're trying to take this all in right now. Right? There's a lot going on in our world. I think there's many of us, especially white people like you and me, who maybe for the first time, because there was a video that we could see, like we have new eyes for this. And I think that there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of people who are understanding that our silence, our inaction is actually a huge part of this problem and is why we are where we are right now. And so many of us, we want to say something. We're not quite sure what to say though, right? Like we want to be in these conversations. We want to be a part of helping. We know this is right. We know justice is right and this has to happen. But how do we talk about this? How do we help? And I really believe that one of the ways that we can help is that, you know, when people are asking a lot of the questions that they are, that, you know, some of us, more of us white people, we got to step in front of some of these questions that are being asked and say, hey, you know what? Talk to me, right? Let's talk. And that's how we can be helpful. I think there's a space where we can be listening to our African American brothers and sisters and friends and colleagues and coworkers and teammates, and we can continue to learn. But we got to start being more active in this space. And I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to have answers, but I do believe that we got to be in this space with everyone else. This is how change is really going to happen. And I just think there's this incredible moment in time where, you know, change is hard, right? Like change, we don't always want to change. But sometimes like the universe lines up and it's like there is a moment in time where, you know, I can be different right now. I can make a change. I can come out of this pandemic and say, you know what, this is something that I care about. Equality is something that I care about, and I'm going to be a different person going forward. And I just think that you know, more of us have to embrace this and we change who we are, change how we live, change how we talk. But that doesn't happen unless we walk into more of these conversations. And I just think it's a great opportunity, right? It's not something that we have to do. This is something that we get to do. And so I think that's my message, that, like, you know, we got to step into these conversations. We got to have these things. We got to support our African American brothers and sisters who have been dealing with this for so many years. Like, it's time for more of us to step in and have these conversations. And I just think this is the good work in life.
How often do you have these conversations with your teammates, Kyle? And how important are they to have?
Yeah, I think I think I lived a lot of years where I didn't understand the importance of me initiating them. Right? I don't know many African Americans and especially teammates in my days in the locker room where they would come to me and just vent to me about their frustrations and their hurt and their pain. I had to understand that I have to be initiating these conversations, because who wants to just talk about the stuff that's hard for them in life? Like, we don't often just dump, like, especially men, right? But you know, when these things happen, like right now, I know the guys on my team are hurting, right? Like, I talking to a teammate just yesterday, and he's like, Kyle, like, more than anything, I have fears of my family or my kids being sick or being hurt. But other than that, my biggest fear in life is getting pulled over by the police. And this is like top-notch guy, right? One of the best. This is his fear. That is real, right? Like, we have to, I have learned that I have to be better in this space. I have to do my work to try to understand. I have to be in conversation, but I also have to do my own work. I have to open up books. I have to listen to podcasts. I have to listen to talks. This is a lot of work for someone like me, right? But if I'm not willing to do this work and have these conversations, like, I'm just not going to grow, because as a white man, I can't understand these things, right? These are things that I can't process the police being anything but my friend and my protector. I can't process these systems that I'm benefiting from, because I don't see them and understand them. Like, this is important work for me. And so yeah, I think this is a moment in time where this is becoming more and more real for us, and we have to step into this and lean into this and be better in this space.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, that's the main thing that I've taken away from this as well. Growing up and talking about, and from reading what you've gone through, very similar background for myself. And I think the education aspect of it and just having the conversation and finding a little sense of discomfort. I think that's important for all of us as we continue to grow and learn and educate ourselves so that we can make sure that everybody is equal. So it's admirable. I want to go back to an article you wrote in the Players Tribune in 2019 when you were with the Jazz. There was one part of that that really stood out to me, and I'm going to read it. It says, "I know that as a white man, I have to hold my fellow white men accountable. And I guess I've come to realize that when we talk about solutions to systematic racism, it's not about guilt. It's not about pointing fingers or passing blame. It's about responsibility. And I believe it's the responsibility of anyone on the privileged end of those inequalities to help make things right." Why is that responsibility so important for you? And how do you feel like since you wrote that article, that responsibility has turned into action for you?
You know, a lot of people will say, you know, I didn't own slaves. I didn't create slavery. I didn't create these systems. This is not my problem. Why? I have enough problems in life. Like, why does this have to be my problem too? And my whole point in that was like, no, like you didn't create slavery, right? You didn't create these systems, but we're living in a society where these systems are benefiting you as a white person, whether you see them or not, or understand them or not. Like, you have something helping. You have a tailwind behind you. These systems were made to help you flourish, right? And and it's not the same for African Americans, right? This is something that we're starting to see. We're starting to understand more. So, are you guilty for this? No, I'm not guilty for this. But do you have a responsibility in this? Yeah. Like, I have privilege in life. There are things that I have that, this system is made to help me, right? But we hear these words and we get so angry, right? Like, I work hard for all my stuff. Hey, right? Like, these are conversations that we have to have. That's the whole point of this, right? That we have to sit in conversation. But, like, to me, more and more, we have to understand that we do have privilege. We got to quit wasting so much energy denying them. Just embrace it and use it for good, right? Embrace your privilege. Yeah, it's like a blessing, right? Take your blessing and use it for good. Like, this is not a punishment that you have to be a part of. This is an opportunity, right? You get to say yes. Use the privilege you have and use it for good. And that's my message, right? Like, how have I grown from this? I think I have just a greater desire to live in diversity, right? Like, if I surround myself with only people who look like me and think like me and vote like me and worship like me, I put a ceiling on me, right? I got this smaller version of who I can be. I can keep working hard and try to specialize myself in that space, but if I bring in more culture, more ideas, more thoughts, I become a better person. And so I think for me, as I've tried to go on this path of learning and understanding, like, this is like what I want to do in life, right? I want to be a part of this because it makes me better.
How important has the NBA been for that growth and that mindset that has developed for you?
Well, it's interesting in that, growing up, I was in the minority and then the majority. I grew up in LA, where I was in the minority, and then I went to small town Iowa, where I was in the majority, and then I've been bouncing back and forth in the NBA. And because of my story, and because I've been in the NBA for so long, I assumed that I understood a lot more than I did. But the last time I felt this kind of energy was when Black Lives Matter was created, right? And I saw all the emotion and the frustration and the pain and the hurt in my teammates' eyes. And I realized in that moment, like, I don't understand what I think I understand. And that's what put me on a path. So just being in diversity, it doesn't make you see. Like, you have to choose to say, you know what, I'm going to lean into this and I'm going to let this shape me.
It's something that I've wrestled with myself on how do I speak up? How can I,
Yeah.
these conversations beneficial for everyone.
You know what is my last point. Like, this isn't about like charity. This isn't about like extra work that you have to do to help. This is about like a heart change, right? We have to learn to live differently. Like, we have to learn to talk differently. And this is hard work, but this is the work that we need to be about right now if we want to be helpful in this space.